Welcome to Wrestle Fest. This is where you, the fans at home, get your chance to have the say on what you feel is right and wrong, not only in the WWE, but in the world of professional wrestling. I'm here to talk about the good and the bad and what needs to change, not only in the WWE, but in professional wrestling altogether also. But anyways, welcome to Wrestle Fest. I'm Adam Conrod and I am your host. Welcome to Wrestle Fest. What was the worst thing in professional wrestling? Well, it's interesting that I brought this up and I said this, on my script, and I wrote it down. I watched WWE and professional wrestling. What was the worst thing that ever taken place in the world of professional wrestling? After I did my research and when I thought about it long and hard for the weeks and months gone by, the worst thing in professional wrestling had to been the 1997 Montreal Screwjob between Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels at the 1997 Survivor Series. I mean, who would ever have thought that the very person who owned and ran WWE and basically is the king of professional wrestling was the very person who actually slowly but surely killed the world of professional wrestling? Vince McMahon himself. Vince McMahon, after the 1997 Survivor Series, the Montreal Screwjob between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Really, we shouldn't be involved in Shawn Michaels involved. It should be between Bret Hart and Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon slowly but surely gave the world of professional wrestling a lethal injection of poison and slowly but surely killed professional wrestling. After the 1997 Survivor Series, wrestling on a slow scale, slowly but surely, start to slide away and die off because Vince McMahon crossed over one of the world's greatest wrestlers of all time, Bret the Hitman Hart. That there, in my opinion, would have been the worst thing that had ever happened in the world of professional wrestling. That had to have been the worst thing ever. The second worst thing that had ever happened in professional wrestling, I rated Hulk Hogan winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 9 when he defeated Yokozuna for the World Championship. I rated Hulk Hogan winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 9 when he defeated Yokozuna for the World Championship after he was scripted to beat Yokozuna, when Yokozuna was scripted to beat Bret Hart. Bret Hart was basically told, give Yokozuna my belt and give it to Hulk Hogan just so we can make him a 5-time WWF champion, because Hogan, for some reason, slipped through the cracks, and Bret Hart's stating was Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 9, when he won the belt from Yokozuna, he didn't deserve that belt. Of all people who didn't deserve the belt in wrestling on that day was Hulk Hogan. And I would have to agree with Bret, because Hogan is the king of professional wrestling. He made WWE and the WCW what it is. He helped Vince McMahon make the billions and billions of dollars, make WWE the big empire that it is today. But Hogan basically slapped the hard-working, back-burning wrestlers like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Lex Luger, Tatanka, Crush, whoever, in the face. I mean, he really did. I mean, I'm not saying Hogan's a bad person, Terry Bollea, whatever you want to say. I think Hogan's a good man. He's a good wrestler, but on that day at WrestleMania 9, Hogan did not deserve to win the belt from Yokozuna. That had been the worst thing that ever had taken place in professional wrestling. The second worst thing that ever taken place in professional wrestling. The third most worst thing that ever happened in professional wrestling would have to be Triple H winning the WWE Championship far too many times than when he should have. Not saying Triple H is not a great WWE wrestler or he's not WWE champion worthy. He definitely is. But Vince McMahon built him too high of a superstar from what he actually was. Triple H was our champion who basically forced the fans to support and like and watch when really the fans weren't really tuning into Triple H. Fans were tired of him winning the belt. I mean, he's only champion because he's married to Vince McMahon's daughter, Stephanie. And the fans really just didn't get into it. I mean, in my wrestling opinion, CM Punk was the better champion than Triple H. And CM Punk, Phillip Brooks, whatever you want to call him, only won the belt once. And CM Punk, Phillip Brooks, was the better champion. And CM Punk quit WWE because, according to him, the plan was CM Punk's going to drop the belt to Triple H, and there was no plans of bringing Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, back into the championship spotlight. As a result of that, CM Punk quit WWE and he went on to UFC, decided to take a career in the Ultimate Championship fighting world, and CM Punk retired from professional wrestling. But that had to have been the worst third thing that have ever taken place in wrestling. Triple H being far, far overrated from where he actually was at, and because of it, he actually hurt the wrestling business. Triple H was a champion-worthy superstar, but he wasn't the big superstar that Vince McMahon made him out to be. The fourth worst thing in professional wrestling. The fourth worst thing that ever happened in professional wrestling would have to be John Cena winning the belt far, far, far too many times, to the point the fans got tired of it. The fans stopped tuning into WWE, even though that they went to Vince McMahon's pay-per-view events, Monday Night Raws, these television broadcast shows, sold out every time. But financially, slowly but surely, the WWE fans were slowly sliding away from WWE because they were tired of seeing John Cena as the world champion. When you look at John Cena when he won the championship 16 times, they actually copied that gimmick from Ric Flair, 16-time WCW champion. Instead of WCW, John Cena is going to be that champion, but WWE. I mean, John Cena is champion worthy, but he's a lot like Triple H. He's not the great champion what he was made out to be. He was like Hulk Hogan with Vince McMahon, worked together. John Cena is the piggy bank for Vince McMahon, make Vince all the billions and billions of dollars that you can for WWE, because there's no great wrestlers to look forward to that were talented enough to draw more fans to the WWE. But people just got tired of John Cena being as the 16-time world champ, and then they bring him back something like 6 years later. I mean, why don't John Cena and Vince McMahon get together, John Cena make an exit from WWE for a good 6-7 years, come back, not as a wrestler, no, like a side wrestler or whatever, make the odd comeback matches like The Rock. I mean, John Cena is a great wrestler, but he's overrated. That's what I have to say about the worst thing in professional wrestling. WWE Hall of Fame. Who should be in the WWE Hall of Fame? As we know, there was a lot of great wrestlers that had been overlooked and had not been placed in the WWE Hall of Fame when really they should have been. There was some speculation, well, they didn't get along with Vince McMahon. Well, some wrestlers had a relationship with whoever in the wrestling, in the WWE, and the WWE didn't see it worthy of putting in these wrestlers in the Hall of Fame. I want to give the thumbs up or thumb down. You, the fans at home, decide about these wrestlers who are not in the Hall of Fame who should be. First wrestler we're going to talk about, Lex Luger. Thumbs up or thumbs down. He started in WCW, he went to the WWE, he went back to WCW because he wanted to work with Steve Borden, Sting, one of his personal friends. In spite of all the years since Lex Luger had his stroke, similar to Bret Hart, Lex Luger never recovered from it. He's in a wheelchair to this day. But anyways, you the fans at home, thumbs up, should he be in, or thumbs down, he should not be. You the fans at home to decide that. A second pick, The Big Show. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I chose The Big Show because he's see similarity to Andre the Giant at home. An inch or so smaller than Andre the Giant, but he's pretty well the same size. My third wrestler I thought should be in the WWE Hall of Fame was Adam Bomb. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Adam Bomb. My second pick, Eric Bischoff. I say thumbs up because of his great wrestling capabilities, what he was capable of doing when he competed against Vince McMahon with the WCW. Even though for some reason the network thought the WCW was the better product than the WWE, when really the WCW product really stunk when they're just using Vince McMahon's former wrestlers that he had in the past, like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, whatever. My fifth pick was Ted Turner. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I sort of like thumbs down sort of onto it. But here's my second last pick who I feel should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, who's not in the Hall of Fame, which is a complete disgrace why he's not, and I'm talking about the late great Owen Hart. I give the thumbs up to that. Here's a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. Thumbs up to that. Here's a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame after all what happened to him and his family and his brother, Brett. Owen Hart should be in the Hall of Fame with his father and with his brother. My last pick about who should be in the WWE Hall of Fame who was not in the Hall of Fame is Brian Pillman. Huh? You had fans to make that decision. I say thumbs up to that. But these are my picks who I feel who should have been in the WWE Hall of Fame, and it's a crying shame and disgrace why Vince McMahon allowed these superstars not to be in the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about wrestlers who are overrated in the WWE. Who are overrated and who was overrated in the WWE. My first pick would have been Dusty Rhodes. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes. I really don't see or understand what the WCW and the WWE seen in Dusty Rhodes. I felt Dusty Rhodes, his gimmick simply stunk. He was not the great wrestler that he was made out to be. I felt he was a wrestler that had been put down, canceled, sent on his way a lot sooner than when he should have been. I just never seen what the WCW or the WWE seen in Dusty Rhodes. His son, Goldust, who played Goldust, was a hell of a lot better wrestler and a hell of a lot talented wrestler than what the American Dream Dusty Rhodes was. Goldust had what it took to be in the WWE. He was a big man, tall man, I should say, but at least Goldust could change wrestling personas and be successful. Dusty Rhodes, I just didn't see nothing in him. When Steve Austin was in WCW, Dusty Rhodes was the one who told Steve Austin, you don't have what it takes to be a wrestler, son. We'll see what I can do with you, but I don't think we can help you. Dusty Rhodes was a good one to talk. Dusty Rhodes just stunk. He might have been a good wrestling promoter, but he was not a great wrestler himself. He couldn't come up with a gimmick that worked. He couldn't wrestle right in the ring. He was just like basically a big flat blob in the ring that shouldn't have been there. He was not a good wrestler at all. My second overrated WWE superstar would have been Triple H. Overrated WWE champion. He won the championship belt far too many times when he should have. He took great opportunities from WWE superstars. He got in their way. He took the spotlight away from very talented WWE superstars, a lot like CM Punk, Phillip Brooks. CM Punk was a great WWE champion. He should have been given the belt back, given another run with it, but Triple H, he's a good wrestler, he means well and all, but he was not the great champion that Vince McMahon made him out to be. He just wasn't that champion worthy. The third most overrated wrestler of all time, in my opinion, would have been Dean Ambrose. why is this guy here? I mean, it's hard to watch. It really is. I mean, he's trying. I'm not saying he's not trying, but he just doesn't have it. I mean, and the ultimate worst wrestler, overrated wrestler of all time would have to be, in my opinion, after me watching Raw, SmackDown so many times, when we just brought WWE back in our home, The Miz. Far, far overrated. And I strongly question why Vince McMahon even re-signed The Miz to a contract. And why does Vince McMahon even keep The Miz in the WWE? I mean, I feel The Miz's time to exit WWE is long overdue. It really is. Superstars like The Miz in the WWE is actually killing the WWE product to its fans. It's harder for Vince McMahon to sell the WWE product to fans because wrestlers like The Miz just doesn't have the wrestling talent. His gimmick is not working. And because of it, he stinks. And so does the WWE product with wrestlers like The Miz in the way, blocking the path of better, talented wrestlers down the road that could use that spotlight in the WWE. Let's talk about the broadcast crew. The WWE current broadcast crew is okay, but it could be better. But it's missing a beat. Let's face it, it's missing a beat from the 1980s. You remember the 1980s when you had Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon? The broadcast crew would have wrestling personas, gimmicks. Today it's like, you just call the match, whatever, and it's boring. And not only did they have Bobby the Brain Heenan, one of the greatest wrestling broadcasters of all time, besides him and Gorilla Monsoon, Jerry the King Lawler brought a lot of great talent to the broadcast booth also, along with Jim Ross. These great wrestling broadcasters are not being replaced with better, talented wrestling broadcasters that can call the matches and be entertaining as they entertain the fans alone when the wrestlers are entertaining the fans when they're in the ring doing the match. I mean, Tony Schiavone, remember watching him at WCW? I often wondered why wasn't Tony Schiavone ever brought back into WWE and called the matches on Raw. So if it's time to change up the broadcast booth on Raw, SmackDown, whatever, there'll always be somebody there to replace them with new and fresh talent. I mean, what they got there today, I mean, they mean well, but I don't think they're entertaining like the old broadcasters used to be. Jerry the King Lawler, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon. They remember when the Macho Man, Randy Savage, did a few broadcasting with WWE superstars before he went to WCW. I mean, that's one of the beats what WWE's missing. They don't have no good wrestling broadcasters anymore. Best wrestlers of all time. WWE, WCW, NWA, whatever. Here they are. Magnum PA. If it wasn't for Magnum PA's car accident that left him seriously injured, he would have been more successful than Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea. And Terry Bollea would not have climbed to the great success that he had climbed to if Magnum PA did not have that car accident. So if I was Terry Bollea at home, I'd be upstairs counting those angels, thanking them for giving me the great opportunity that I lucked out on. Because Magnum PA was a very successful wrestler. Buddy Rogers, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, Rick Rude, Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage, Randy Poffo, Lex Luger, Larry Fole, Owen Hart. Had been one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Not in the Hall of Fame. It's a disgrace. It's shameful. And I'm very sad in the way how his life had ended on a WWE pay-per-view event. And I'm very sick in the way Vince McMahon had not canceled that pay-per-view event in respect of Owen Hart, because he was actually, that was something that Vince should be saddened about and upset about because he should be. Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Jerry Lawler, IRS. Bret the Hitman Hart. Marty Jannetty. Mark Calloway, The Undertaker. Mike Higginbottom, The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Leon White, Vader. Bam Bam Bigelow. Shane Douglas, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, the Dynamite Kid, Billy Graham, another wrestler. If he would have gotten away, if his career didn't end so short, he would have gave Terry Bollea a good run for his money also, because Hulk Hogan would not have worked if Billy Graham or Magnum PA didn't succeed, because Billy Graham was a great, talented wrestler. He really was. Harley Race, Steve Austin, Diamond Dallas Page, Bruno Sammartino, Torito, Arn Anderson, Kurt Angle, David Smith, the British Bulldog, Kurt Hennig, Stu Hart, Bruce Hart, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, the Brooklyn Brawler, who went on to play Doink the Clown. Actually, the Brooklyn Brawler was one of the many wrestlers that played Doink the Clown. Andre the Giant, Doink the Clown himself, the Hot Rod, Rowdy Roddy Piper, and Goldust, Dustin Rhodes. These guys, in my listings, were the greatest wrestlers of all time.